HCTV Sports is supported by the Hastings Public House. Memories made local.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
Oh, was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
The Blowy! Touchdown Raiders!
On the YouTube channel for HCTV. Do you remember their number on cable?
It's channel 799. Thanks to those of you that are watching on HCTV, as well as we wanted to also give a shout out to those that are also watching on CCX Media and Park TV and listening to us on KDWA Radio. We're at Hastings Civic Arena tonight. Hastings girls hockey against the Hopkins St. Louis Park Royals. He's Josh Colvin. He'll be on play-by-play. I'm Trey Lauer with you tonight inside the arena for the first game of the season. We're actually going to step aside on the radio side for the national anthem, and we'll be right back with the game.
Yep, we'll be back with starting lineups in the game. You're listening to AM 1460 KDWA, also FM
97.7 and HCTV.
We will be back momentarily on the radio for you. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hastings Civic Arena. This evening's matchup between the visiting Royals from the Hopkins Park High School and the hometown Hastings. Students starting lineups for the Royals, the Hopkins Park team, in goal, number 30, Evelyn Osland. The defense, number 6, Lyndon Luce. The other defense, number 16, Bryn Edsel. Starting at center for the Royals, number 14, Sophia Hoffman. The wing, number 13, Avery Shaw. And the other wing is number 15, Noah Jansen. Mainly the Royals team, coached by Brian St. Martin, assisted by Annie McNeil. Now, starting lineups for Hastings in goal, number 33, Bree Dahlstrom. Defense, number 7, Casey Plank. And defense, number 21, Annie Schuster. Starting at center for the Hastings Raiders, number 4, Libby Cano. The wing, number 17, Georgia Richards. And the other wing is number 20, Lauren Mull. And Maynard Raider team, coached by Jim Joseph, assistant R.J. Schreiber, and Vogel Wilson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand facing the end of the ring as we play our national anthem. Referees for this evening's contest are Nick Walters and Joe Garcia. Arrangement with Chris Rogers.
All right, we are back here. Hunter, I'll get that timing down where we're on for the announcements before the anthem. Again, it's kind of cool where the guy in charge of me now, I used to get to grade, and maybe not give him the grade he wanted. He can return my report card later.
Well, let's take a look at the Metro East standings. And nobody's played a conference game yet, but Hastings sits at 3-3. Hill Murray, the only unbeaten, at 3-0. South St. Paul 4-1. Simley 2-3-1. And then the Two Rivers St. Paul Co-op 2-1, 3-1 for North Tartan. So it's going to be kind of a jam-packed race. I know South St. Paul went to state a year ago, so that's going to be the team to beat. And it might be boys hockey, I can't remember, but there was a South St. Paul coach who just announced his retirement this week.
That's Dave Palmquist, who's been at the South St. Paul girls for the last 24 years. So he announced his retirement. So that is the team there. And
you saw the late conference standings. We saw that Hopkins sat at 2-3 on the season. So 3-3 versus 2-3. And if you were with us in the pregame on the radio, we talked a lot about the keys to this game. Raiders have to get shots on goal and have to continue their strong goaltending as we're underway.
Puck drop, center ice. First line out here for the Raiders starting tonight. First line is in terms of who's out there. Maddie Schuster on D with her partner Casey Plank. Schuster behind the net, trying to get control. A little bit of a wet area as you see the puck kind of slide before it goes up to the top. Shot from Hopkins goes right to left, down into the corner behind Beard Ballster as the Raiders tie up. That's Casey Plank battling before it's chipped behind the net. Across Schuster trying to get there, but that puck is centered, and now the Raiders are going to exit the zone. Coming up, remember those of you on the radio, the broadcast goes right to left. Raiders in the right net, Hopkins in the left. Bree Ballster starting on the right. Your starting lineup up front for Hastings in that first line. Libby Knoll, Georgia Riches, and, oh boy, somebody's going to get mad at me. That's who it was Lauren Mull. See, I get confused on that because Mull has been a defender the whole time until this year. So line change out, Raiders in that deep right corner. There's center and captain Michaela Berquist, number 9, battling. Puck chipped up to the left side. There's Kylie Gruden, now back to Berquist, thrown in front. That one just bounces. Here we see Kara Erickson shot, not being able to get through. Hopkins collapsing in front, and now they try to exit the zone. They chip it back, but the Raiders defending. That's Emily Toohey. She throws it back up, and we play a little bit of, this is a little bit of back and forth. Waved off, but looked offsides here. And now Hopkins trying to exit their zone. Raiders getting another line change. Here comes Madden Hansen. Shot on net, technically going to count, but that's really just a dump in as Emily Toohey goes to the right of Bree Ballster. Toohey tied up, Hansen comes out with it, chips it over the blue line. She's got Carissa Thompson with her, and that forces the puck to go instead of D to D. There's a turnover, Jade Shower has it, steps in, shot, hits the crossbar, bounces up. Shower with the shot from about 45 feet, and that one hits the crossbar and goes up. Now here's Thompson. Thompson throws it across, that finds Toohey. Toohey wrister hits the back of Thompson. So Thompson blocking a shot for the wrong team there. Hansen pressures. That's actually Grace Gerlach on the back. I missed a line change. Gerlach's the one that had her shot block. Here comes Thompson now back behind the net, 25. Back up top to Schuster. Wrist shot misses, left to right, deep in the corner. Raiders now starting to tilt that ice. Back to Gerlach, throws it deep in the corner. And that'll be Riches giving chase before Hopkins has to throw it the length of the ice. If that hits the net, which it does, no icing. Technically, 2 saves for Ballster. I don't know if we're going to count those, but a nice ring up. I know the official's going to have to. Now that's Riches that sends it ahead. Libby Knoll has the puck chipped behind her, and now here comes Hopkins going the other way. Nice centering pass across the red line, across the blue, and then met by a Raider defender. That's Casey Plank. Coming out of that pile is Mull, number 20. Again, as I mentioned, a defender for a long time, now playing left wing. Now it's sent back, 36. That's Addie Selesky. You'll hear her name a lot. Big, long, sick. Great defender physically. Nice shot from the point as well. Trying to get up. One Hopkins girl down. Selesky has it, goes behind the net, right to left, and then reverses. Pass up to Mull. Mull now steps out to the dot. Great breakout pass across the middle to Riches. Riches has it. She goes wide, but she's going to be alone. 1-on-2, and then a stick is on that, and that prevents any clean shot as the Raiders are in the middle of a line change.
I like the tempo that we've seen from the Raiders so far in this one. This kind of dictating the pace of this game.
Absolutely, much different team as Berquist with a shot just misses. Compared to that Duluth game, this is a completely different tempo, much more like what we saw against Eastridge. Emily Toohey wheels in her own zone, then comes out, sends it across. There's Erickson. Erickson turns, hits the brakes, drop pass to Toohey on that right hash, and that bounces the corner for Berquist. Berquist looking in the front for Gruden, not able to poke it home. And now it's still back in that deep right corner by the Zamboni door. Good angling job by Kylie Gruden there to force that puck up to Toohey's shot. Making sure I'm seeing 11 right. I'm getting old. My eyesight isn't what it was. Deflected, tipped in front. As that went off a skate, Selesky's shot almost finds the back left corner of the net, but just hits the outside. To your point, Trey, this is the first time Hopkins has exited their own zone in quite a while with the puck.
Yeah, Raiders definitely pushing right now, trying to get that first goal and set the tempo. They've tripled Hopkins in shots on goal here early, 3-1.
And that's counting that one that was really a dumping. 12:26 left here in this first period of play. 0-0, Hastings girls hockey versus Hopkins Royals as Grace Gerlach goes to the right of Bree, passes back behind the net to Selesky. Selesky up. That's from Thompson now over the right side by Schauer. Raiders doing a great job of keeping possession. She's got Madden Hansen trailing and Thompson in front, but doesn't find anything. So forces it high to Schuster. Schuster off a skate. Back down low. That should be Madden Hansen, number 5. Works her way up. Tries to bounce it back up high to Casey Plank, but not enough mustard on it, and it's chipped down deep. Hopkins going for a change. Schuster gets the puck behind the net, but loses it. Now the Raiders are going to have to set up in their own D zone. Hansen with the pin, chipped around. Thompson's going to work her way up, and then it's sent back down right to left behind the net where Casey Plank picks up. She has the puck, but no skating room at all as she's quickly walled off. Sent behind the net for Schuster, and then Hopkins tries to flip it up front. Hopkins in the zone, but not able to maintain possession. Raiders just need to get one little chip to get out. Unable to do so there was Thompson trying to flip it out. Now Hopkins is going to change, and that should give the Raiders a little bit of skating room here to exit. Sent across the middle. That was a blind pass. I get what they were trying there. Luckily, it was offsides at the 11:09 mark.
Yeah, furious tempo early on. We haven't seen a ton of face-offs. Haven't seen a lot of breaks in the action until that point. So 11:09 left. We've played almost 6 full minutes, and this is what, the second or third face-off we've had. So
correct, and part of that is those Hopkins was trying to ice it, but it was going on net to Bree, so that prevented a couple that Hopkins was just hoping to get out of there. Face-off one. But it goes back to Selesky, who's unable to get it to Mull. Now that puck is thrown through the crease and just misses. Riches on that right wing, chips it ahead. Mull's going to give chase. She's out of the zone, but has the puck knifed back on her, and the Raiders have to come back and get it. Battle on the wall, squirts free. There's Knoll, back to Selesky. Selesky D to D, left to right to Toohey. Toohey hits the brakes and spins, unable to get it out. So Raiders got to do a little bit better job of getting that puck tape to tape instead of into skates. Selesky, good escape, but she meets 2 as Hopkins sends 2 hard aggressive on him. Working up the wall now, Hopkins, wheeling, number 13, gets to the center, shot, deflected, and that bounces to the right. That was Avery Shaw, one of the leading scorers for Hopkins, number 13. Shot, deflected, bounces to the corner, as Hopkins now definitely doing a good job of putting the pressure on the Raiders. Here's Selesky. Selesky chips. That's Knoll. We got a potential 2-on-1, and she goes down hard. Arms are up, but that's for no icing as Libby Knoll is yet to get up near the Hopkins bench. She's going to work her way back here as Hopkins comes across the red line, crosses the Raider blue on the left-hand side, and runs into Grace Gerlach.
We saw misconduct within the Duluth game of something similar to that previously. So
pucked in the short side, shot saved by Balster. That was dangerous. She tried to push back. She lost her edge, but able to get that glove out as probably the first grade A legit chance goes to Hopkins.
Yeah, and we mentioned, Josh, in the top of the radio broadcast, .922 save percentage for Bree Balster coming into this game. And, the wins and losses aren't the way she wants it, but that's a pretty impressive save percentage. Stopped 47 shots in a loss to Eastridge a couple of days ago.
For sure. Schuster now on the wall, battling, face off to the left of number 33, Bree Balster. Now Michaela Berquist has it. Bounce off the wall, chipped ahead to Kylie Gruden, and she gives chase as it was just a little too far. And Hopkins now is starting to tilt the ice back to the right here as the Raiders, they have possession but unable to complete that second pass to get out of where they need to. Diagonal back towards the Raider Brents to Berquist. Berquist tries to force it through a stick, and then ends up with it back on her stick. Chipped up to Gruden, who then slots it all the way back down into that left corner. Sent ahead, Selesky, one-time shot save. She's coming right off a line change, steps down, and lays into one at the netminder for Hopkins. Witham is, nope, not Witham, sorry, Osland is able to get. Now Hopkins rings it, trying to get out. Selesky there with that long lumber. Sends a short wrister, short side, trying to bounce it off the boards. Thompson now has it. She's flagged by a couple of Hopkins girls. It's 2-on-1 down there before Schauer comes and helps. Schauer with the puck, sends it to the middle. That's an errant pass that Hopkins has. They're going to come back, but great back check by Madden Hansen, and she's going to go to the box.
Yep. That was a 1-on-4 for Hopkins. There was just nowhere for that Royals player to go, and unfortunately it results in Hastings going to the penalty box here.
Yeah, Madden Hansen working her way on the back check. Swings the stick, but gets a little bit too much on it. Either 2 minutes for a slash or 2 minutes because that girl lost her edges. Either way, Hansen's going to go sit in the box for a 2-minute spell here, and the Raiders will have their first kill. Up to the top. Hopkins trying to set up in a 1-3-1, gets that near side, trying to throw it to the front. Great job defensively by Selesky, prevents a good chip in there. Now in the bottom corner, tipped up. Now they work from high to low, back low again. More of an overload than that 1-3-1 as they're working on the right-hand side here. Selesky gets it, rings it, but that's not going to beat number 14, Sophia Hoffman, as she holds it in on that far left blue line. Hoffman walks it in, drops it to the top. Wrister, shot deflected, no goal. Nobody knows where it is. Balster doesn't know, and she gets up. They thought it was in, and everyone in Hastings stopped moving. The first shot did not beat her, but Balster thought it was in. I don't know if she thought it was going to be a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like the first one just kind of rang off the post a little bit, and then they all signaled that it was a goal.
No, so they signaled no goal.
Well, the ref didn't. The team did, but
Correct.
The ref didn't. And then the rebound went in, and it's 1-0 Hopkins Park.
Raiders are going to have to look at that one as far as just playing to the whistle. So everyone in yellow stops, and Hopkins doesn't. They realize it's no goal. They tap it in, and now the Royals take a 1-0 lead in this first period here at the 7:56 mark.
And for those in Hastings, when we say Hopkins Park, we're referring to Hopkins and St. Louis Park. They co-op this team.
Goal for Hopkins on that was 14 from 16 here. I will apologize. New speakers, but they haven't tuned them in yet. Sounds
no, they
like
haven't. And knew everything in here this year.
I know. They've moved some stuff around, but still a little bit tough to hear. So we'll get that scoring in just a moment here as the Raiders try to recover from that 1-0 drop here. Puck dumped into the right of Balster. That bounces. Emily Toohey has it. 7:20 left here in this first period. Raiders trail 1-0 off a very fluky situation. Hopkins now offsides. Bergquist has it, throws it ahead to Erickson. Erickson then throws it ahead. A little bit of nobody wants it, but the Raiders are going to get a change here and bring out some fresh legs. Thrown up to that near side. There's Schuster. She bounce passes it to Schauer. Schauer up to Hansen. Hansen goes ahead. She's got Thompson with her. Now Hansen, short side shot, bounces across the front. Tries to get that rebound to Erickson, but that just hops over her stick. Gerlach tries to hold it in, does so. Referee a little out of position there, and that's going to get away with it for the Raiders. Now back to Selesky. Bounce pass off the Raiders sideboard. Back to Selesky. Selesky steps up. Crosses the red line, throws it to Schauer. Schauer working that right wing, or that right-hand side as a lefty off wing there. She turns, keeps possession in the bottom corner, throws it up to Erickson in the slot, trying to get some lumber on it, but met by a sea of blue, and that keeps it in. Selesky, long shot off the shin pads, goes into that left corner. Bounce into the right side. Hansen working, Schauer supporting, but it's shipped ahead of her. But luckily sitting back there is Gerlach, who sends it back deep, and the Raiders are going to be able to get a little bit of a line change here and keep the pressure on. Out to the neutral zone. Knoll gets it, sends it to Riches. Riches at the blue line, dumps it hard, right to left. And coming on is Mull on the left-hand side as the Raiders complete that line change. Riches has it on the right-hand circle, spins, throws it towards the net, just misses. And now Mull has it at the left hash. Schuster, shot, save, just outside the pipe there. Sent back by Knoll again. On that left wall is Mull. She's trapped by 2 Hopkins players. Puck squirts to Schuster, who gets a shot. This is what we haven't seen enough of from the Raiders, though, as we see it again. That shot by Schuster generates a great rebound, but there was no Raider sitting on the backside to tap that in. Now Schuster throws it ahead, no icing, as Mull gets a piece of it, and she gives chase down in the left corner. Shots on goal, 6-4 Raiders over the Royals. 0 for the Raiders, 1 goal for Hopkins off of that crossbar. That kind of stunned everyone in yellow. Now Mull with a little bit of a slash there, but gets away with it. Puck chipped up off of Rich's skate, and now Hopkins just throwing it out, trying to get a change. You're going to see all 5 blue turn, and we're going to get 5 new girls coming out. Schuster wheels, doesn't take the long route, but throws it up short side, and that's going to be an ice. Turned right into where the Hopkins players were coming back in towards him, and so that didn't leave any room for any of the Raiders to get a piece of it. So the faceoff will be all the way to the left.
Yeah, so 4:43 to go here. Shots are 6-4 in favor of Hastings right now. Do you like where they're at right now with their shots on goal? Do you think they need to be a little bit more aggressive, or what are your thoughts there?
Well, the biggest thing is the secondary shots. So they're getting first shots, but a lot of those are coming from a long ways out. Selesky, Schuster. Here we go. It's a great chance. Here comes Gruden. Gruden shot or pass across to. That looks like it was Erickson. Not able to get there. Now it throws out front.
That was a great look, just a little bit off the stick.
Yep. That's a tough play for Erickson, a lefty coming down on that side because she's got to keep her speed up, but then try to open up to be able to get that one time. A great play by Gruden. That's the right play. If you can get it across, that's just always going to be hard for Erickson to get a piece of it. Here, those of you watching, listening, I'll describe it again. Again, Gruden, a lefty, coming down on a 2-on-1, throws it across, perfectly placed, in all honesty, but that's just such a hard play for Erickson to turn and open up. To your question before that rush here, as the puck goes back, the Raiders are getting those shots from the point, but in varsity hockey, you're not going to score from the point very often. What you're going to do is generate rebounds, and so the Raiders have to get that secondary girl there. Now we see the Raiders on the right-hand side trying to put pressure, but Hopkins escapes, chips it out. That's going to be an ice as Selesky gives chase, and that'll call it dead right at that 4-minute mark here, as we're going to get a face-off 200 feet away. That's scoring, by the way, for Hopkins, that first goal. On the power play, number 14, Sophia Hoffman, senior, gets a goal assisted for sure by number 16, Bryn Etzel. Couldn't tell with the speakers if there was a second assist there, but on the penalty, that was a hook by Madden Hansen from Hastings, number 5, that led to that goal. So the Raiders' penalty kill drops another notch a little bit.
If I remember correctly, they had a tough day against Eastridge on the PK,
Correct.
So got to get that shored up.
Correct. Here comes Thompson. She steps out, has help, shot, rebound. It's loose, and then a quick whistle as the goalie had no idea where it was. But there we see that intensity. The Raiders, the whistle hadn't blown. Shower goes in, but we don't see that sea of Raiders. Thompson here gets that puck after Hansen has it. Thompson walks to the front, shoots it. The rebound's squirting, and everyone's kind of waiting instead of driving in to bury it just in case. Make the referee blow the whistle on you. Shot from the point. That was Gerlach. Misses short side, bounces to the left. Now Shower has it again. She's in that left corner. Down to Hansen. Hansen has Thompson in front, unable to get it. Now Schutzer has it. Shot deflected off of a Hopkins skater, number 19 skate. That must be 18, Bella Bisbee. Now it chips ahead, 26 for Hopkins, one-on-one with back checkers. Good stick by Schuster. She gets in the way and no call as the incidental contact will allow. But now there's a wide open shot from the front. Shaved by Balster. As interesting, it was Raiders looked like they had control. They had numbers. It was a 1-on-3. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, that puck is squirting right out front. There's 2 Raiders there, 3 there. They lose those trailing Hopkins girls. Puck goes right to that grade A chance, slot chance. Luckily, Bree Balster there to bail that one out.
Yeah, and I think, the goal aside right now, I feel like Hastings has a little bit of an advantage in terms of play right now.
Yeah, they're carrying play, they're carrying possession. They've got the 7-5 shots on goal. What they're not getting is the grade A chances. So here we go. 2-on-1. I spoke too soon. Here comes Lauren. Oh, offsides as Rich is a little too anxious, a little too excited. Must have missed not by much. We don't have instant replay. Nobody can challenge here. But we've got
well, we have replay.
We have replay. This is awesome.
Coach Joseph doesn't have replay.
That's true. I love that you can see Rich's.
Here's the 2-on-1, and yeah, it looked like I
Just a
think
touch.
that would just be a tick offsides.
Yep, he got a better view than I did, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt as Hopkins now turns the pressure on, leaning on Hastings, driving. Puck chipped up. There's Noel. She's battling in the corner, squirts to the middle. As now there's a misplayed puck. Bree Balster pokes it out as there's a little miscommunication between Casey Plank and Georgia Riches there in front of the Raiders' net. Battling in the corner. Riches is down there with Plank, 2-on-2. Raiders with a wing pretty low in that situation with Riches. Riches now behind a little bit more of a man defense. Now it's poked ahead. Here comes Mull again, this time all alone. Shot just misses the far side, had a good look. Lefty going to the far side on that glove, just missed. So
Great look, just a bit off.
Yep, and those are two great rushes by Mull, number 20. Now it's shot in by Hopkins on Balster. Easy play for her to handle, bounce to Schuster. Schuster gives it up to, that's Erickson, who chips it ahead, but no Raiders are there, and then they have to go back and regroup. 1:55 left in this first period. Raiders trail 1-0 to the Hopkins St. Louis Park Royals. Raiders now trying to gain possession in the zone. Unable to get all the way there, but a great pinch by Schuster gets it deep and keeps the Raiders' offensive hopes alive. Down low, Berquist tries to backhand to Erickson. Berquist gets it back again. A little bit of loose space, but in no position to shoot before Erickson gets it in the corner. Erickson now pinned. Raiders 1-on-2 there. So Berquist a little bit late coming in to help, layering that defense, not going in super aggressive, but looking for that puck to squirt out. There it goes now. Here comes Berquist. She's got Gruden back to a shot. Just misses on the great pass by Berquist. Puck high, squirts, Erickson shot, rebound. Another one battling in front. Long late whistle there. And that was a nice flurry by the Raiders.
It certainly was. I mean, they got 3 shots there. They're already up to 10 for the game, and I think they had like 19 total against Duluth. So they're more than halfway to where they were in their last game here in this first period, and that's what we talked about, Josh. We wanted to see them get shots on goal because if they get shots on goal, they're 3-0 in games where they have more than 30 shots on goal this year.
Absolutely. 1:05 left here. Raiders, again, controlling ice, controlling shots, just not controlling the scoreboard with a 1-0 loss here. Hopkins throws it out, unable to clear it as Kylie Gruden's backing up Selesky there at the point. Now Hopkins chips it to the middle, 1-on-2. Selesky and Gerlach back. Gerlach's going to step up here, put the stick on it. That allows Erickson to step up, trying to go the other way. She's ridden off hard, takes a little seat on the ice, and oh, geez. That could have been a penalty as Gruden from behind there skated through a Hopkins girl. Luckily, no call. Now Hopkins skates in. Forced wide again by the stick of Gerlach, thrown to the middle. Nothing happening there as Selesky and Berquist are sitting there. Puck loose in front. And Balster, number 33, will hold on.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away that, like we said, what we kind of was a fluky goal, Bree Balster's been in a zone all night. She stopped.
Here we see that hit.
Yeah.
For those of you watching on the back, again, it's one of the things that's changed in hockey is the impetus on who they're calling it on.
Right.
Is the person without the puck.
Now I wasn't here on Saturday for the game against Duluth, but I understand there was a 10-minute misconduct for a check. So they did officiate that a little bit
tighter.
Yep.
For sure. As we wind down here, Hastings trying to get one more chance. Thompson tries to cross over, unable. Schuster throws it to the front. That finds a skate. And now Hopkins comes the other way, but the time is not on their side. 1 second, shot. That flies over the head of Bree Balster. And that will end this first period here. Raiders trailing 1-0.
Yeah, and I understand we don't have a replay of the goal for the first period. But, we can describe it a little bit here. Just, it was kind of one of those, where did that come from goals?
Yeah, so it's on the power play for Hopkins. They've got the puck low in that far left corner. They work their way low to high, and the defender, let's see here, I just want to make sure I get it right, number 14, Sophia Hoffman, walks down to the top of the circle, lets a great shot go. It hits that crossbar and drops straight down. And basically it stunned everyone because they just assumed it went in. So kind of everyone stood there. That we could see on the original replay, the referees just waving it off. No goal, no goal. Nobody moves except for the Hopkins girl that goes in behind Bree and taps that in. And that's just a fluky situation there as we end this first period.
Yeah, so that's going to take us to the first intermission here. Hopkins Park on top of Hastings 1-0. You're watching and listening to Hastings Raiders Athletics on KDWA and HCTV.
All right, back here on AM 1460 KDWA, as well as for my first time on HCTV here, as I'm going to help our special guest here with the microphone. She was breathing heavy into it. That's okay. Raiders trail 1-0 after the first period, lead in shots on goal 10-5. We'll come back and talk through that. But first, I want to talk to Haley Strain here. Haley is a sophomore.
Yep.
Sophomore here for the Hastings girls hockey. I always forget because I've seen you since you were like 7 beating up my kid in wrestling. So I've known you a while here. Girls basketball, getting ready, your home opener, season opener, correct?
Yep.
First game is going to be this Friday. Talk about how things have been going so far this year for the team.
So we've lost 2 of our good players, but coaches talked through it. Every single one of us just has to score 2 more points than normal, and we'll be totally fine. And I think it'll be pretty fun because we've all really played with each other for about many of years. And even though it's we are really young, we can still work together and play well. So
you mentioned a young team and 2 seniors. Who are the 2 seniors that graduated?
Lily Newton and Maggie Schlattman, which they both went on to play college ball. But
yeah,
it's been, we're really young, so sophomores and juniors. But we only have 1 senior. But we've all played together or whatever because
AAU basketball, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So I get a chance to see this. I had Kate Reuter up here talking about the season. What's been your favorite thing so far about being back in the locker room, being back on the court with the team?
We're all kind of like a family, so it's fun to play with our friends and do what we love with each and every one of each other. We all have a special relationship, and it's just fun to be back and do what we love with each other.
So I don't know as much about girls hoops, obviously, with teams. Burnsville, you guys open up against at home Friday night. Trey will be there broadcasting live for KDWA. Talk about Burnsville. What do you know about them?
I think we should be able to take them down, but we just have to work together and find the spots that we work hard in. We don't really have an offense right now, which is kind of bad, but...
What do you mean by that? Just trying to figure out what you're going to run?
Yeah, we have to figure out each other's special skills and use them all in one to.
Well, again, you lost 2 girls that played a lot, who I'm guessing kind of dominated possession and shot attempts.
Yeah.
So that's obviously going to take that. And you mentioned a younger team, so you got to figure out who's going to fill in what.
Yeah.
Super excited to come watch you guys Friday. Really looking forward to it. I really appreciate you joining us here.
Yeah.
I have one last question though. Who is? It's not even close. So this answer should be pretty easy. Okay. You spent a lot of time in the 2B pod at the high school. Who is easily the most interesting, dynamic human being as a teacher in that area? I mean, there's only 4 to choose from.
Yeah.
So rank them in order 4. Kate Reuter got this wrong, so go ahead. Start at the bottom. Least interesting human being in that pod for the 4 male teachers.
I don't mean to be mean, but I've never really met Mr. Woolett. So
no, that's okay. He's not that interesting.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're good.
And then number 3.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Mr. Reuter?
Yes. See, that works. For sure. Reuter is a disaster as a human. Kate had him first. Can you believe that? I mean, even as her dad, there's no way that should be number 1.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Number 2.
Mr. Schultz.
That a kid. See, this is why you're my favorite strain. I have video of you beating up my kid. This almost is better than that moment. So you're saying the most interesting, dynamic, enjoyable teacher in that 2B pod is?
Mr. Colvin.
Well done. And with that, we're going to take a commercial break. Great job, Haley. You absolutely are my favorite person on that team, well ahead of Kate Reuter. We'll be back after that commercial break here on HCTV and AM 1460, FM 97.7, KDWA. starting to learn.
There we go.
They get the little fade out, the fade in. I get the thumbs up from Hunter, and looks like we're back. Thank you, those of you tuning in on HCTV channel 799. I'm not good with numbers. My AP macro class, Trey, I got to tell you, they can tell you. Some days I'm not good with numbers. Today was not one of them. But HCTV partnering with us today. Super happy to be doing this, bringing you live Hastings girls hockey here from the McGree East Rink on this snowy night. My wife said that the roads are clear and that the snow has kind of stopped. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. Now, while we're here tonight, we also have the start of the boys hockey season on Thursday.
Correct.
Hastings boys hockey opens up in, believe it or not, a pivotal section game to start the 2022-23 season against a Rochester Mayo team that many people believe could be number 2 in the section this year. We're so used to it being Lakeville.
Yep.
But Rochester Mayo and then Lakeville North and Hastings kind of going to be fighting in that middle stanza. But I spoke to assistant coach Ryan Stoffel, and he told me, Mayo brings back a lot from last year. They're going to be a team that's going to be a tough out. It's going to be interesting who will be that number 2. Everybody obviously keeping an eye on Lakeville South and trying to chase them, but that's going to be a very important game on Thursday night.
And we'll be here again, partnered with Hunter and his staff here. So we're ready for puck drop as the linesman gives the signal both ways here. We'll be going again on the radio left to right here in the second period. Bree Balster, number 33 on the left-hand side, back by the concession stand and the Zamboni door. And the goaltender for Hopkins, who has played every minute of the season, Evelyn Oslin, number 30, in nets to our right. Face-off, originally won by Hopkins, chipped back as the Raiders give chase. Sliding over is Schuster. She's on the right-hand side. She's got Plank to one side, but instead chips it up to Lauren Mull. Mull unable to muscle that puck out. Now she gets it back, battling with the defender. There it goes into her skates. We got a 2-on-1 here right away. Mull has Riches with her. Mull goes wide. Great back check by Hopkins, and then another good shot by Mull. This time does find the net on that. The goaltender able to stick her paw out and grab it out of the air. We saw Mull generate 3. This is now her third 2-on-1, 1 offside. This time again, coming up that left-hand side after winning a battle, crosses Riches to the middle, but taken away by a great back check by Hopkins, so Mull's only option to shoot.
Oslin was ready for that one. She kind of saw that one coming, and the centering pass didn't quite work out.
Well, once you have for a goalie, here we go, the Raiders now on that face-off, maintaining possession. Drop pass, Gruden. There's Tui, knife to the corner. When the goalie sees that there's a back checker, now we have a situation where the goalie can step out and take out more angle. They don't have to honor that pass. Raiders in the corner. There's Erickson. That chips ahead of her. Tui steps up, flips it up over the breaking out Lucy Johnson for Hopkins. And now it's rung back around. Selesky steps in, gets his stick on that. Now battling, throws it to the front. That just slides behind Erickson. And here comes Michaela Berquist, senior, number 9 captain, battling. Erickson chips it deep, and she goes for a change, and now Schauer steps on the ice, number 14. Kylie Gruden still battling. Puck goes underneath the ref, who got in the way of Selesky, so no icing as a result of that. Hopkins going to change. Second period change is critical, as it's the long one, so if the Raiders can maintain that kind of pressure they did in the first, those second and third line changes can really generate something. Hopkins forced to dump it. Tui goes in behind the net. Drop pass to Selesky, straight behind, chipped. Now thrown up on the near wall, stepping off is Thompson, but has it poked away, and it bounces right to left behind Bree Balster.
Addie Selesky is certainly going to be a name that people are going to want to keep an eye on. Team USA camp this past offseason over in Bemidji.
It's hard to coach length and height, and then you add skating like she has, and that allows for a lot of upside. Hopkins crosses the blue line, dumps and changes. Raiders, Madden Hansen gets control, number 5, goes behind the net, turns into that pressure. Schauer has it in her feet, but chips ahead. Now we've got Hansen. She's got Thompson with her. It's a 2-on-2. Hansen short side, not able to get enough on that to get past the defender, but maintains possession, and the puck rolls up to Schuster. Schuster throws it on net. Good control on the rebound by Oslin, the goaltender for Hopkins, and now it's chipped down, and that's going to be icing. At the 14:28 mark, Raiders trail 1-0 here at the McGree Rink.
Yeah, and one thing that I talked about with Coach Jim Joseph, and he mentioned this also when you guys were on the Coaches Show a couple of weeks ago, is this team is still kind of learning each other.
Yep.
The new coaching staff that's come on, they're still kind of learning each other, and you're kind of seeing that tonight. There's been some passes that haven't necessarily been on target. There's been some looks that were there that weren't completed, and that'll fix itself in due time, but they're still kind of learning each other right now.
Great chance there by Lauren Mull as that's chipped ahead, but Oslin gets there. You're right, and it's not just the players learning each other. Every year it's a new team, but this year you've got a virtually completely new coaching staff for everyone to get used to. That puck is thrown down. That'll be our second icing. So you're right. It's going to be different defensive systems, so people will be in different spots. It's going to be different forechecks. It's going to be different philosophies on the little nuances of how Joseph and his staff is going to want the girls to play. They've got to learn what he's looking for. He's got to learn where their strengths are and kind of dial it all in.
Yeah, and especially if you're a senior or somebody that's been in this program for a while that's used to a different kind of coaching style, I imagine it takes a little bit to get used to a new coaching system.
For sure. Turn shot off the face-off is Libby Knoll. That, again, Oslin does a good job of keeping it in, and Casey Plank does a good job of keeping that inside the blue line. Now Riches flips it up. Great step up here. Pardon me, by Libby Knoll as she steps down and pinches to keep that puck in. There's Mull, bounce pass up. Selesky one time, shot misses, and that's going to bounce to that near side boards in front of the Hastings student section. A lot of pajama pants over there. Apparently, snow day continued to the night as I'm looking at Matt Foss.
It was a snow 10 minutes though, wasn't it?
It was. It was a snow 10 minutes, not a full snow day. As Matt Foss is over there in his winter apparel. Behind the net, Libby Knoll. Selesky winds up. That's a high and wide as she just misses a little outside. There's Tui. She drops it down. Keeps it in. Raiders leaning on him.
Selesky's got quite the one-timer.
Yep. Now we're battling on the near side. This is what I meant by the second period. If the Raiders can keep them pinned in without that change, they might not score on the first one. Here's what you don't want to see is them get it out. Raiders will change on the back check, but what that does is it allows Hopkins, you'll see in that near bench as everyone hops out, and now Selesky flips it. She's looking for a change as well. That doesn't get outside the blue line, and Selesky's forced to get it back in that right-hand corner. She rings it, and she'll take the ice so she can go catch a breath as she makes her way to the bench. That sustained pressure, what I was going to say is, as the Raiders are ahead now 13-5 in shots, still trailing 1-0 at the 12:43 mark, the idea is you get that sustained pressure. What happens now is the defending girls get tired, and you see the D, like Selesky, they're cheating down, able to create more space, more time, and then start creating those more grade A chances. Face off now, Michaela Bergquist. To the left of Bree Balster underneath the boys' banners by the Zamboni door. Lost. Hopkins gets control, but great pressure by Kylie Gruden, who forces that puck 200 feet down. And now here you see Erickson pulling that rope, flying down, forechecking. That's going to create some problems. Hopkins chips it over. Schuster there, but unable to get it before they chip it out into the neutral zone. And Emily Tui gets it. Tui reverses, slides it back up to Gruden. Gruden enters the Raiders' zone as she wheels, looking for an outlet. Throws it through the middle, and a little bit of mistiming there between Bergquist, Schauer, and Gruden. Would have been a great chance. Bergquist was just a little ahead of the play.
Yeah,
now it turns over.
4 of the 5 leading scorers on the ice right now for the Raiders.
There's Carissa Thompson. She dumps it to Schauer. Schauer is now deep in that corner, sends it behind the net to Thompson, but finds a Hopkins player, number 14, the goal scorer, Sophia Hoffman, the one that has given the Royals the lead. You can see Hopkins now trying to just get the puck out as the Raiders now change. Hansen throws it to the middle, shot, deflected. Jade Schauer was there, but was pushed out of position as she was pushed to the near side. Now Hopkins able to change some, but not everyone. Selesky wheels, she walks. Tired Hopkins defenders out. Selesky pulls, backhand pass, tries to get to Thompson, and that just slides through. Now poked away from Hansen. Hopkins turns, comes up. Selesky with the long stick breaks it up. And this will allow Hopkins' tired defenders to get off the ice. 13, winds up shot, goal.
Wow.
What a turn of events there as Avery Shaw goes end to end. She was able to get through that first change.
Yeah, it just looked like there wasn't much that Bree Balster could have done on that one. That one went top shelf right to the left of her there.
Yeah, blocker side.
Blocker side, yep.
Bree's a little bit short of a goalie, so one of the key things she's going to have to do is make sure to take ice. The bigger thing here is we see that Grace Gerlach steps in, tries to make that poke, and that allows a great setup by Shaw to cut in on her and then take that puck, change the angle, go short side, top shelf. We'll see if there's any assists on this as well.
Yeah,
Hopkins now regroups.
Now the Raiders are in a little bit of more trouble here than they were, and we'll have to try to claw out of a 2-goal hole here.
The tough thing here is, like we've talked about, the Raiders are winning in time of possession. As Casey Plank goes through, we're going to have an offsides. Raiders are carrying the play, carrying the time of possession, keeping control of the puck, getting shots on goal. But here we're going to see that goal again. Just one misstep by a poke there by the defender. And now it's 2-0 as the Raiders looked momentarily before that to be leaning all over them and starting to generate. We saw that great shot by Selesky. We saw a great pass in front that just missed Thompson, and another one for Shower. Raiders on the wrong side of a 2-goal deficit here, but on the right side of everything else. At the end of the day, though, the only score that matters is the one under their names.
And that was the first time that I really thought that Hastings didn't look like the better team so far. I mean, I feel like they've kind of outplayed Hopkins slightly, but that's not where it matters right now. What matters is the score, and that's where they're down at the moment.
For sure. Raiders just need to stick to their game plan. Here we go. There's Lowenmull trying to create another 2-on-1 with Riches. She almost got through there, and now here comes Hopkins back. Stick battle. Schuster misses it. Coming back is Libby Knoll. That helps. Schuster now steps, throws it, looking for Mull, and there we see Riches coming up on that right-hand side. Puck run around, right to left. Thrown to the middle. Here's a chance. Here comes Michaela Bergquist. Shot, save! Oh, bad turnover by Hopkins there. Bergquist comes in straight down the pipe, and Oslin challenges out to make that save. You're going to see Hopkins here just throws the puck without looking blindly. Bergquist, number 9, off that line change, finds the loose stuff, brings the puck back to her forehand below the hash mark, but Oslin challenged way out, and that's all that Bergquist found was that belly.
Yeah, Bergquist had a good look there for what would have been her 6th goal of the year.
Shot from the point, just misses. Selesky, that rings around. Erickson has it tipped up to Tui. Tui keeps it in by throwing it down in the corner, but not deep enough to get past that first line of Hopkins defenders, and the Raiders are forced to retreat. Chipping in Selesky again, seems to be everywhere, as I mentioned. You talked about her good summer, but those physical tools make it pretty obvious to see what she can do. Here comes Erickson now, poked ahead. Now we've got a foot race. Here comes Gruden, one-on-one on her backhand, tries to go to the middle. Oh! She loses the puck, and it still almost goes. Got to drive that far post. If Gruden just leans into the girl there, keeps control of that puck, she's got the whole side as Oslin had committed to the shot. And we saw as it loses. Now here we go. Puck in front. Bergquist trying to get it. That chips out. Selesky dumps it back off her backhand. There's Bergquist wheeling. Throws it to the middle. Shot just tips over. Shower jumps in. Selesky trying to get there. Hopkins is on their heels. There is no doubt.
Relentless pressure right now from the Raiders. They're definitely pushing, trying to get a goal to get this back within 1 here as the period winds down.
Shower in the corner, tries to find Hansen in front. That just slides off. 8:46 left, second period. Score is 2-0 Royals. Backside, back to Schuster. Throws it out front, deflected, kicked out, and now Hopkins chips it ahead. Gerlach's going to get it. If she can keep it up, that's going to force Hopkins D to backpedal, and they do. They're able to get 3 forwards, and then they fire it into the bench.
Yeah, but this is what the Raiders want. This is what we talk about. You know, what they've done in their victories is they've put shots on net. They've been relentless. A lot of pressure. They're out shooting Hopkins right now 16-6. And sometimes, you know, we see it in the NHL too. A team will outshoot a team like 44-17 and they'll lose 1-0. But in this particular instance, you're down 2-0. You got to be as relentless as you can to get those pucks on net because you're going to break one eventually. One of them's going to get in at some point.
Absolutely.
Unless the goaltender's absolutely on it.
Absolutely. Chipped ahead, that's just going to be a little too far. We're going to have an ice. You know, it's interesting. We talked about what the JV game previewed potentially, and I mentioned sometimes those things aren't very telling. One thing that is telling is Tyler and I, the other goalie coach, were talking about, you know, Victoria Steinke was in there. She ended up with close to 17 shots, but through 2 periods, she only had like maybe 9, something like that. And those are really hard games for goalies to stay in. So Breeze only had 6 shots. One is a grade A snipe, top bar down. That was the second goal. That first goal was one that, again, beat high blocker as she covers it for her 7th save off the faceoff. The other one beat the same spot, high blocker, dropped straight down, and just kind of a fluky situation. So it's hard for goalies to stay in because you know the chances are coming. The other goalie's getting peppered. It's 16-7 in shots, and you have to stay focused. That's a hard thing as a goalie to do because you know it's coming. Now here's Plank off that face-off, loses the puck to the left. Now reversed. Raiders have to be careful. Backdoor chance shot, saved by Balster. As that puck went behind the net, everyone was chasing, and there was a great chance for the Raiders. Georgia Riches goes through the back of a Hopkins Royal player, now ties it up on the wall. Plank, D to Selesky, back to Plank. Plank bounce pass to Riches. Riches in front of the Hopkins bench battling. And then the puck slides back in. Here comes Selesky. She's going to get the net. Taking a look up the wall. Mull should be leaving here. There we see it. There, just didn't get it through. As Mull was leaving, as that pass from Selesky hit Knoll, Knoll just had a hard time getting a grip on it. If she's able to chip that up off the wall, now we have our fourth 2-on-1 by Lauren Mull. Instead, Schuster from behind her net comes back out, chips it ahead to Berquist. Berquist through the neutral zone, weaves past a couple of blue players and then dumps it right to left hard behind the net. 7:06 here in this second period. Raiders trail 2-0, lead shots on goal 16-8 in this second frame. Hopkins throws it through the middle. Tui unable to hold the blue line, turns and fires it in to pin him in, and the Raiders are going to reload and come at him. Gruden slow plays it towards the wall, and Hopkins bounces it off one of the stanchions, and Tui's forced to get back. She bounces it, again trying to pin the Royals back into their zone. Hopkins goes D to D, back up the far wall, back now in, and now here we have a fresh set of legs with Shower. She's going, looking for help. Here comes Thompson off the bench. Shower's got to find somebody. Thompson, shot, save, rebound. Thompson unable to pull the trigger. Back behind the net. Shower to Thompson. Shot just misses short side. Had the whole top shelf, but was unable to get that thing just down enough. Now a battle. Hansen, Shower, tipped on that. Shower, her own rebound, saved into the corner. Here comes Shower again, slides it up. Gerlach keeps it in as that puck bounced over her stick the first time. Hansen, she's got Thompson in front of the net, trying to get it to her, but unable to. Gerlach back down. Raiders putting the pressure on like we talked about, throws it to the front. Carissa Thompson trying to find room, and then there's Selesky. Puck bounces off a Shower and off the post and out. This is one of those can't buy a break moments so far for the Raiders here, as Hopkins is going to be forced to ice, unable to. Selesky, great job to keep it in, but Hopkins now sends it past. No ice. Hopefully Selesky can get it and rifle it up. Now those tired Royals are going to be able to get out.
After all of that, they actually only got one shot on goal in that entire sequence. So just got to get a little bit better with their communication, and we'll be good.
Raiders ice the puck. I would say this. We'll have to consult with McCarville on the official goalie stats. He's doing video back there, so he'll tag it. They might have missed a couple. Sometimes
Probably.
that happens.
Yeah. And usually they add him after the game, or
Sliv's over there eating popcorn. I don't know what he's doing. Butch, he says he's keeping track. It's a new scoreboard too, so for all I know, they're
absolutely.
trying to figure it out.
If you haven't been inside the Civic Arena yet, there's some new scoreboards. There's also a new scoreboard in the gym at the high school.
There is.
A lot of new stuff happening around Hastings.
Yep, some of the same old teachers though. Puck thrown out to the blue line. Hopkins has it. Shot deflected. That beats Bree Balster. That was a floating shot from the blue line. Looks like it was deflected.
Yeah. Now the Raiders are climbing up a mountain right now. They got a big hike ahead of them here to try to get this 3-goal deficit down, and down to 5-10 here in the third. And you look at the shots on goal, 17-9. 3 goals in those 9 shots. 2 of them we could argue are kind of breaks for Hopkins.
Yeah, those
to be totally honest, but.
Yep. Those of you able to see it on the replay, it definitely looked like in front of Balster. That puck was tipped down. It was going higher and then was knocked down below her glove.
I'll be interested to see who they give credit that goal for, if whether it was tipped off of a Hopkins player or if the original shooter, I guess we could say, was the goal scorer.
For sure. Unassisted number 24, so they're going to say it beat her clean. 24 is a defenseman, Summer Surer. We're going to see if I get any text message from people on that pronunciation, but doing the best I can here on that. Raiders now down 3-0 here. 4:41 left in this second period. Shots on goal. Raiders all over at 17-9, but one area that we thought the Raiders would for sure have an advantage is if they outshoot them. Yeah. Coming in statistically, if they win the shot battle, they'll win the goal battle. As you mentioned, 2 of them call it fluky, call it whatever you want. I mean, you create your own breaks. Bar down, goal for the second one. Bar down, dead play, weird for the first one. And this third one here, deflected in front of Balster. They're going to call that unassisted by the defenseman, Summer Sur, freshman number 24 for Hopkins. And the Raiders, again, will see if they can muster that energy they were able to after that second goal. Out here, taking the face-off was Berquist's line. That's Erickson on her right wing, number 19, and Kylie Gruden, number 6. Selesky and Tui on the back end. You can see Selesky cheating down, pinching, then works her way back. Now Hopkins exits the zone, 2-on-2, chips it past Tui, and we're going to have a penalty.
Yep, it looks like they're going to get number 11 for Hastings there for a penalty. I believe that is Emily Tui, who's going to go to the box. And are they going to get her for a...
my guess would be interference. Yep,
that would be my guess too.
Yep,
I was going to say maybe a cross-check, but they get her for an interference. And so she will head off for 2 minutes.
Yep, you can see Tui working her way back here. She just makes contact with the girl as she chips it ahead. I don't think it was an intentional check or anything like that. As she opened her hips to go with the play, it ends up just getting tangled up and for sure an interference call. Now Hopkins, 5-on-4 here. Second power play. They scored on their first one. On the top, number 14. She had that goal the first time, excuse me. Now they ring it around. Hopkins on that right side, too high. One girl in front, one girl in the high slot. Now it goes back to the left-hand hash. Hopkins keeping the puck but not really setting it up anywhere. Now they wheel, low corner. Trying to find somebody in the middle. Shot, one-timer save, rebound, flipped over the top of the net. And they go to work. Hopkins now on the backhand right side. Good save by Balster on that. Diagonal right to left, walks down, drop pass. 16 over to that right side, but 13 had time. Looked like she kind of just missed that. So again, we're seeing the same kids out from this last one. Etzel, number 16 at the top. 14, Sophia Hoffman on the right-hand side. Or on the left-hand side. Shot, one-timer off the side. Balster doesn't know where it was. That one-timer was 10. Adrian DeGuilo. We're going to go with DeGuilo, one of those two. Here's number 16 again, Etzel. Has the puck in the corner. Drops it behind the net, looking for number 10 in front. And a good stick. Good stick by Plank. Keeps that to the side. Now Loda high, trying to cheat up. We've got a breakaway here. Kylie Gruden shorthanded, pushing the puck ahead, getting pulled back. Shot, save! Again, the key to that save was the back pressure by Hopkins, as Gruden had no ability to go to her backhand at all because the back pressure was there. That allowed Oslin to come up. As we see, a great job defensively. Springs Gruden, number 6, she's flying. 16 on the backside. Bryn Etzel pushes her to her forehand, and that allows Oslin just to cheat and come out into the white paint. The same thing we saw on that shot on Berquist, where Oslin comes way out. Not much net then. Yeah, boy, I'm telling you, Oslin's in the zone tonight. She has seen everything come her way, and she stopped everything so far. Correct. 18 for 18 for Raiders, Oslin in net. Yep. Raiders, 22 seconds left on this kill as Schauer tips it into Oslin. So 2:26 left here in the second period. 3-0. The Royals are leading the Raiders here. Shots on goal, 18-10. We mentioned Tui in the box here. Pass out front. We saw a great chance there on that, shorthanded by Schauer and Carissa Thompson, generating offense. One girl down. Gerlach and Schuster on the back end. Still Thompson and Schauer up front. Hopkins breaking out, 3 across. Sends it wide. Now they get the red. Get the Raiders blue and try to drive deep in the left to set up time as this penalty is going to expire. Short side shot held on easily by Balster there, head high. And the Raiders are back to full strength. One thing I noticed there was the Hopkins players from the bench were signaling that there was 10 seconds left in the penalty. Usually you see the goaltender tapping the stick on the ice to signify that there's 10 seconds left in the penalty. What's the difference there? What was that, just the way they decided to do it, or? Could be what the coaches are focused on. Could be their goalie was worried about it. I'm getting chirped here. Listen, I talk all day and all night. I make one little verbal faux pas, and everyone's going to pick up. On the other hand, Schauer working hard the other way. Now it's back in the neutral zone. The big thing might have been there, talking about how Oslin had pressure on her. So maybe the coach was signaling the girls as they came up because Oslin was going to be worried about other things. Now Plank has it. D to Selesky. Selesky up to the far wall. Now we've got a chance. Here's Hansen with Shower in front. Hansen walks in. Wrister. Goal! Oslin comes out to take away the angle. Shower drew the defender to her on that backside. And Hansen buries it up top over the glove of Oslin to put the Raiders back on the board.
And that's how you get yourself back into a game with a goal like that. And Madden Hansen actually had a chance to pass that puck too, to have it right down the middle. But, you know, a good look from an angle and got it past the goaltender, and it's 3-1 now.
Absolutely, and that's the spark the Raiders need. Now they're going to have to keep up with this here as Hopkins enters the zone. On the right-hand side. Now behind the net, chips up. Raiders battling, trying to keep the intensity up here, trying to keep that momentum. Last thing you want to do is drop a goal here after getting it back within 2 with 1:10 left in this second period. Shot almost off the linesman. Selesky has it now. She turns, fires it off the glass, chipped up. Lauren Mull able to get it out. She's got Riches with her. Even on that goal, we saw Hopkins doing a great job of back pressuring. They took that option from Shower away. So Hansen really had nothing but the shot, but that long reach was able to get it outside the frame of Oslin as the Raiders pin him down in this zone.
Well, we talked about it too. If you get a lot of shots on net in short succession, the dam's going to break eventually.
Absolutely.
And it did there for Hopkins, and now Hastings is on the board.
Now here it comes. Here comes Gruden. Gruden's got Berquist with her shot off of Oslin. I don't think she knew exactly where it was. 23 seconds. Puck tried to get up quick. Now here's a shot. Save. Almost missed Berquist. Rebound. Goal! I believe that's going to be assisted by Thompson.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see who gets credited for that goal, but there you go. There was the relentless pressure we've talked about in front of the net, and they've gotten after it. The dam has broken now for Oslin, and now Hastings has gotten 2 quickly here, and all of a sudden it's a 1-goal game.
Absolutely. Original shot by Erickson, and then we see Gruden and Berquist. We'll see who they award everything to, but those 3 are the ones that generated it. Puck comes out to Erickson. Erickson throws it down, ends up working its way back up. And now with 12 seconds left, the Raiders have made it a 1-goal game. 6 seconds left. Here comes Gruden again. Gruden shot, misses. So I didn't hear the official on that as far as the scoring. I know they gave it to Gruden, who poked it in. I saw her come through the line first. Hey, this is where it's great partnering up, because we'll be able to see this as we end this second period. Raiders are trailing 3-2, out shooting Hopkins 21-11, a couple of fluky situation goals. The Raiders are absolutely, if we look at this, back in this game. Going to get a look here as we recap this second period. Hopkins comes in, gets their first goal of the game off a great play by number 13. She just steps around Kylie Gruden and buries the puck top shelf. That third goal for Hopkins, awarded unassisted to number 24, Summer Sir. But to be honest, that sure looked like it was a deflected. And then the Raiders come back. Madden Hansen on a 2-on-1. We've seen 2-on-1s all night. Buries that puck top shelf as Shower took all the pressure. And then this last goal, we see Erickson from Michaela Berquist gets the puck on net. Erickson throws it. Berquist and Erickson battling in front, poking at it. Gruden is the one who's able to get it through. We'll see if we can get official scoring on this. But after 2 periods, this game has completely turned again.
Yeah,
Trey.
And great momentum going into the second intermission for the Raiders. After 2 periods, it's Hopkins St. Louis Park 3, Hastings 2. We'll be right back to Hastings Civic Arena.
All right, we are back here at the McGree East Arena in the Hastings Civic Center as the Hastings girls hockey team has rallied from a 3-goal deficit with some last-minute heroics. Raiders goals by Kylie Gruden and Madden Hansen, assist to Jade Shower, Carissa Thompson, Kyra Erickson, and Michaela Berquist. I'm not positive on the official on the last one for Berquist and Erickson, but it sure looked like it as we take a look around here at the arena.
That would be Kyra Erickson's 10th assist of the season.
Already?
So, yeah.
That's impressive. That would definitely put her in the lead. She generated a lot on that.
I love how you coached the team and you're like, already?
Well, hey, listen, again, I worry about the other end. That stat stuff is for other people. I'm looking at the numbers. We've got Hopkins here in the third period. Will be on our left again as we go left to right on your radio dial. For those of you watching on HCTV on channel 779?
99.
799. Yeah, see, AP Macro is going to kill me again later. It is what it is. Thanks to everyone joining us wherever you're able to tune in to Trey and me as we kick off this third period here with a puck entering the zone. Michaela Berquist on the right-hand side drops it to Erickson in that right deep corner. Gruden circling out front, looking for something, steps in, throws it to the front, in the skates, just slides past Berquist, and now Tui throws it down right to left. Takes a weird hop off that Zamboni door behind the Hopkins netminder, Osland, and now it goes to the neutral zone. Tui pushes it right back up, bounce pass to Erickson, unable to get there, but gets in front of the puck and keeps it in. We saw a lot of pressure as the Raiders now changing. Here comes Thompson. Stepped out, thrown to the middle. Erickson trying to find Thompson. Now Selesky steps up, shot, misses to the right. Raiders able to keep sustained pressure on in both periods at times, and that's led to some tired Hopkins girls playing defense.
Looked like Hastings got away with a high stick down here also that went uncalled. We'll take that.
We'll take it. Joe's been reffing a long time. We can allow him to miss one here or there. He was still reffing when I started 16 years ago. Now Hopkins tries to clear their zone, unable to. Hansen has it, thrown to the front by Thompson, trying to find Shower, unable to get there, and Hansen holds it in. Puck poked ahead. Now Hansen continues to battle behind the net, number 5. She's looking up high. Tough for Casey Plank. Good job kicking it low. That's why you're a multi-sport athlete right there. Plank now keeps it low. Shower throws it back to Thompson. Thompson debating about going. Kind of a little hesitation, miscommunication there between Thompson, number 25, and Casey Plank. Still back deep in that Hopkins zone. Shower and Thompson battling, keeping it down. Hopkins girl takes a seat, and now they're able to exit the zone. 2-on-3, great back check by Noel. Puck dumped in on Balster. Hey, I've been talking since 6 a.m. This is going to happen now that Hopkins throws it to the right, hits the side of the net. Plank over there. And that looks like a little bit of wet. You could see that puck stopping there. A little bit of extra water. Perhaps Corey Onken, the arena guy, threw a little extra down accidentally. Now here Libby Knoll exits the zone, comes into the Hopkins zone, but no support there as the Raiders are on a change, and now it goes back the other way to your right. Grace Gerlach behind the net. Wheels. Bounce pass. Mull bounces it off the wall, trying to find Libby Knoll, but instead finds number 6 from Hopkins. Interesting on the jerseys, I don't know if you've noticed this. I thought all the jerseys for Hopkins, as Osland covers it up.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I thought all of them had Royals on it, but we see some of them get names, some of them get Royals.
I'm wondering if some of those were JV players that were moved up. But then again, I look back at the JV game, and they also had names on the back of their jerseys too. So, interesting.
With some of these co-ops,
if there's somebody from Hopkins who can fill us in on that, we would appreciate that.
How would they fill us in?
They can put into the YouTube chat on the HCTV YouTube channel.
But I'm not looking at the YouTube chat.
Well, Hunter is.
Well, I can't read lips.
You can text us.
There we go. Schuster back in the zone. She rings it back. And there's Burke was battling. 14:09 left here in this third period. Raiders trail 3-2 to the Hopkins St. Louis Park Royals. We're down 3-0 at one point. Now it's chipped past Balster harmlessly.
Well, for those listening on KDWA, it'll be kind of hard to put it in the YouTube chat.
It will be hard to put it in the YouTube chat. Good luck. If you figured out how to do that, let me know. Raiders 2 goals late in that second period to close it up after dominating in time of possession and shots on goal. They're still beating them 2-1. Now the puck squirts out. Here comes Gruden. Gruden has a step. She's going to be all alone. Raiders going for a change now. Gruden hits the brakes. Doesn't protect the puck too well. but luckily slides through as number 16, the goal scorer for Hopkins. That's Bryn Etzel. She actually had that assist. She ended up stopping on the brakes, which gave Gruden time. Now Hopkins dumps it as they're changing. Selesky rings it to Thompson near that Raiders bench. Doesn't have it. And now the Raiders forced to regroup. Plank, diagonal pass. Miscommunication as Shower was cutting diagonal, looking for that outlet the other way, and luckily it goes all the way down without an icing call. Thompson, Shower, and Hansen low, throws it to the front, just misses. There's the puck loose. And that looked like Thompson with the backhander, but Oslin was there again.
Yeah, she was all over that one, but like you said, just it was hack and whack time down there, and a couple of really good looks by the Raiders. Just were unable to get the tying goal into the back of the net, and it stays a 3-2 game for the moment.
Yep, Raiders sent all three girls below the red line, below the goal line there, obviously trying to generate some offense. Hansen peeled out, and that looked like they were obviously trying to get it to her, just unable to do so. Now it's dumped into the corner by Casey Plank, defenseman number 7. Behind the net goes Hopkins. Shower giving chase. Hansen steps in, but has that puck bounce over her skate, and it's a battle on the wall. Plank gets it, keeps it. Wrist shot, misses short side, and that bounces, and Thompson gives chase. Selesky chips the puck up. Now there's Shower. She's trying to keep it in the zone. Does a good job of poking it off her backhand deep. And Thompson trying to do the same thing. Raiders changing on the fly here. Here comes Georgia Riches as she's going to join. We've already had Noel join. So now trying to go backdoor to Georgia Riches. Unable to get it. Now there's a pile up in front. Riches throws it to the front. Sticked away, and now Hopkins is going to ice it. But that's going to hit. They've done a spectacular job this game. Hopkins has of sending it, but sending it on net. The number of times in a normal game as the Raiders dump it deep that we'd have icings and face-offs. Instead, Hopkins has put the puck on Balster, allowing them to change.
Yeah, that means they've been coached pretty well with that.
Yeah, it's a couple of times is an accident, but boy, it sure seems like it's intentional. 11:40 left here in this third period. Raiders trail 3-2 as Hopkins pushes past Gerlach, cuts to the middle. She's down. That's going to be a penalty on Riches.
Yeah, that one looked like a takedown.
Yeah, that's
wrestling season starting up here. What would that be? 2 points for a takedown?
You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know much about wrestling. I'm trying. My kid has joined, but I'm still trying to figure it out here. As there you see, Gerlach gets beat to the outside. Riches has to drive, ends up. They call it a trip. Riches really just put her head into the Hopkins player's thigh and then knocked her down. So Rich is going to spend 2 minutes in the box. That's a phrase you've heard before if you've listened to these games. Mostly years past, as her older sister, same number, tended to go in the box a couple of times. Raiders now on their third kill, gave up a goal the first time.
This is an important kill with this being a 1-goal game here in the third.
Absolutely. Not only for them to kill it off, but maybe to generate something, as we saw Gruden, number 6, pushing really hard. And now
we got a whistle. Are we getting another penalty here?
Nope, that'll be an offsides.
Offsides.
Yep. 11:09, 17 Georgia Riches in the box. 1:38 left here on this penalty.
Yeah. And for those listening on the radio, haven't been to Civic Arena yet, brand spanking new scoreboard in here. It's got the shots on goal, which we think is accurate. It's got the penalties in minutes. It's a really nice new layout they've got with the scoreboard here inside Hastings Civic Arena.
Absolutely. Shower, Thompson up top. Now here comes Hopkins pushing back. Tui and Selesky. Wrist shot saved by Balster. She holds on for the rebound. And we'll get a face-off to her right. Yeah, always nice playing in the East Rink, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, here we go, under 11 minutes now. Raiders have only generated 2 shots on goal this period, so they've got to get back to what they were doing. And down a body right now, they've got to get this kill and then get back to what they were doing and get that third goal, send this thing to overtime.
Yep. Now here comes Hopkins setting up on that left-hand side.
Or win it in regulation.
That'd be even better. Go home on time. Shot, save, hits the post, rebound, bounces off. That was off of Balster, hits the post, I believe. She ends up pushing the net off as she pushes from left to right, or from right to left, I should say, and that's going to draw the whistle and get the face-off to her left.
Yeah, it looked like a net just came off its mooring slightly there, as good look there by Hopkins, but Bree Balster, man, she was all over that one.
Yeah, she got enough of it to push it wide, and then as she pushed, the net popped off. So now to the right, Hopkins wins the draw relatively cleanly, and then Selesky tied up. Behind the net goes Tui. She gets a puck, wrists it down the ice 200 feet, and that'll help take some time off. There goes Thompson giving chase, pressuring. Raiders really aggressive with their first forward. She forces that puck back to the near side. Now Hopkins slides up, bounce pass, hits the blue line, turns, wrist shot, saved by Balster as she looks that in really well, making sure she sees it the whole way. Selesky slides in. Nope, that's Tui that slides in.
I was going to say there was a Hopkins in the net. It just wasn't the puck.
That's all that matters.
It was a player that was in the net.
Yeah,
but good save there by Bree Balster. Hopkins has kind of closed it up a little bit in shots on goal, 23-15 now here in the third. But only 38 seconds left on the kill.
Raiders have been the only ones with the only ones with penalties as Gruden now pushes. She's got no one to help, and that's not surprising. You're not going to send two at this stage on the penalty kill. Puck sent up, Tui's there to break it up. Tries to get it deep, but unable to get enough on it or high enough to clear the Hopkins forward stick. Now Hopkins sets up. 16 seconds left on this power play. 9:45 left here in this third period. Raiders trail 3-2. High to low. Hopkins tied up, good pin, and then shot out, knifed out of the air, but here comes Kylie Gruden. Kylie Gruden's got a step. If she can turn, she's going to get in clean here. Unable to, throws it back. There's Selesky. Raiders have killed the penalty. Now they have possession inside. Throws it to the middle, tipped by Erickson from Selesky, but Osland is there. Critical kill.
Yeah, critical kill for the Raiders, and they had a good look there too, Josh, at tying goal right there at the end, and Osland read that one, and Hopkins keeps this a one-goal lead for now.
Yep. Tough to get a lot of stick on that for Erickson, the angle that she's coming in at, but great job by Selesky to see her so that Erickson can at least put something towards the net. Face off to the right. Schuster and Gerlach back. Gerlach gets that puck on net, behind the net. Now is Thompson. Thompson pressured, flips it past Schauer. Madden Hansen with her. Throws up, skips past. Now here's Gerlach again. Shot misses to that left-hand side, and Schuster pinches hard down all the way to the hash to keep it in. Battling is Schauer. Schauer behind the net, tied up. Actually not behind the net, to the left-hand side. Tied up, two Raiders girls in the corner. Hopkins comes out with it. Now Carissa Thompson swoops in, backhands it. There's Hansen. Raiders again doing a great job of maintaining possession and tiring out the Hopkins players. Key now is going to be not letting them out and getting some fresh legs on for the Raiders during this without getting a whistle. Hopkins just trying to chip it out. They're able to in the neutral zone. A little bit of a rushed shot there by Gerlach, and Schauer pushes it in. So the forwards for Hopkins change. Now Schauer shot, rebound! Just too far for Erickson, but at least the Hopkins defenders, and that one bounces up off of a stick. But the idea here is at least if you can keep the Hopkins defenders pinned in the zone, now you can start to go to work with them with that second wave of forwards.
Yeah, and the Raiders have been pressing, and that's what we want to see, especially when you're down in the third period. You don't want to give the other team any chances at all when you're playing from behind. And so the Raiders basically spent that entire shift in the Hopkins zone.
And that's what the Raiders are going to need to do. Face off one, short little slop shot. That one just misses. Now in the corner. Puck tipped down. Selesky does a great job of keeping it deep. Now Mull, again, former defender. Oh, that was a great play up to Riches that just went off her skate. Just going the other way. I think she should be a lefty. If she's a left-hander, that's a great shot. Here comes Selesky. Side steps, flips it up. Riches tries to step in front, unable to do so. And now Casey Plank backs up. Under 8 minutes left in this third period. Raiders have been all over it when it matters this third period. Even being down a man. Well, down a girl early. Plank stops, swings, reverses it. That misses Selesky. Chip pass, good play here. Here comes Berquist. She's unable to leverage that, keeping her knee in front of it. Now Schuster chips it up. Berquist is going to go deep. She's got Gruden in front of the net and Erickson behind her. Puck is rung around. Schuster, great skating, throws it. Tries to just squeak it through for the rebound, but a good job by the Hopkins forward there, number 10. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name anymore. Number 10, as she's able to get in front of it. Now the Raiders have to be careful offside. DiGiulio. That sounds like a flavor of gelato.
Also, we've gotten some clarification here from, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, Janine Fandel, who says the Royals on the jersey is because the players are new this year.
Got it. That makes sense. Now puck, shot, Oslin. Great save. Puck is rebounded out as the Raiders unable to get that second one, leaning on him. Hopkins trying to hold on here. Appreciate the people tuning into YouTube, letting us know what's going on. Here comes Tui, shot, wristed, just misses Oslin, and that puck rings around. Thompson now on the boards. Kicked off of Madden Hansen's foot. That's going to bounce all the way back. The Raiders are going to have to regroup. You can see Shower hanging out in the neutral zone. That's normal. That's hard to break what your dad's been teaching you for 13 years, to hang out in the neutral zone. Raiders are going to chase this puck. And now we're going to have a face-off back in their zone. 5:59 left. Who are our people that were picking us up to help out with HCTV?
It was CCX Media and Park TV.
Gosh, you're way good at this. Me, not as much.
No, you're doing great.
That's good. I appreciate that. As long as you don't make me do fractional math again.
Don't make me do math either.
That was a tough
You don't want me
morning.
doing math.
It was a tough morning in AP Macro. Now the puck behind the net. Hopkins throws in front. Oh, boy.
Where is it?
Woo!
Where is it?
Ballster stepped off the post, started to slide, and kept her left leg pinned in. That thing almost went off her foot and in. That would have been a heartbreaker.
I tell you what, if this was the NHL, they'd be going to Toronto for a video review
for
on
sure.
that one.
Toronto is Hunter Pinky right now. As that puck goes to the front,
man,
that's under her left skate, just pinned in.
What a great save by Bree Ballster.
Now bounced short side. Selesky unable to get it. Shot saved by Ballster. Rebound loose. Here comes Thompson. Thompson now skating up. Crosses the blue line. Crosses the red. Unable to get it deep the first try, but does the second. There's Shower. She's going to wheel behind the net. Thompson's in front. Shower's going down, and that's going to be the first Raiders power play here of the game as Hopkins takes a penalty. We'll get our first chance of this game.
And that's a pivotal penalty for Hopkins, too, with just 5:24 left in this game. You're now going to spend 2 of that on the kill down a girl here. And so Hastings will have the 5-on-4 advantage for the next 2 minutes. And that'll get it down towards goalie pull time if they don't score.
Well, I don't think Joseph
not with
is
3:24, but
he's not quite Patrick Waugh-like where he's going to pull with 8 minutes left. But
no.
I think, we'll see how it goes here. Regardless, Raiders with a great opportunity to try and tie it. Selesky, hard ripper. That goes high and short side. Here's Tui now on that half wall. Works it back up to Selesky. Selesky keeps it in, gives it back to Tui as she's pressured. Now Tui's under pressure. Hopkins working hard. That's number 13. I believe that's Shaw, who's done a great job all game. She ended up on the score sheet as well. The penalty for Hopkins was number 16, Bryn Etzel. She had that assist on the first one with that shot that hit the post. Raiders now in the short side. Puck is flipped, almost goes over the top of the goaltender Oslin as Bergquist shoots short side. Shot. Nobody can find it there as it's blocked. Another shot just misses short side. Rebound. Burke was trying to hammer it home, and Oslin, So the question is, will they get both? The hope is they get both. So the linesman saw, I think, the first. So Bergquist takes a shot. Yep, they're going to get both. So Bergquist takes a shot to the face. And then
and
the ref didn't call anything on that one. We're going to see this here. So Bergquist gets a little bit of a right jab to the chin. Right there. That's more of a cross, not as much of a jab. Bergquist takes exception to it, and she gives her the old two-hand down to the ice, and so both will go to the box.
Yep.
They'll think about their decisions in life.
So we get 4-on-4, it looks like.
It will be. There's a timeout, I'm guessing, for Hastings here, so we're going to go 4-on-4.
Now, how is it 4-on-4 if there's 2 in the box for Hopkins?
Well, it won't be. That's the confusion. My guess is it's not going to be 4-on-4.
It'll be 4-on-3.
No,
well, no,
it should be
5-on-3.
Let's try that again.
5-on-4.
Remember you said you didn't want to do math?
Yeah. See, I told you, I'm not good at math. Let's just avoid numbers.
Listen,
Shots on goal are something to something.
I'm missing my quantitative group. I got a whole table of guys who are my quants who help me out with my numbers, and they're not here. Should be 5-on-4. My guess is it's just the Raiders took their timeout, and so didn't have their fifth skater out as Coach Joseph tries to draw some stuff up here. Not sure what was going on.
Are they misconducts, perhaps? Is that
yeah, it'll be offsetting. It'll just be
okay.
They each get 2, and they stay there till the whistle after 2:34.
That's right. Yep.
Gets them out. But yeah, not sure. Hopkins coaches seemed a little verbose towards the refs. And
I
the
like
refs
that word.
You like that? That's a Joe
I was
Beatty
going to
word.
say confuzzled, which isn't even a real word, but
That's a
real
good word,
word.
though. But yeah, they were expressing their displeasure to. Yeah, here comes the 5 for the Raiders and the 4 for Hopkins.
So let's see who the 5 are that are out there for Hastings. It looks like
you're going to have to consult the things. Yeah, I got this down now.
It's going to be Shower, Tui, Madden Hansen, and Carissa Thompson, along with Addie Selesky.
There we go. Well
yeah.
done.
Thumbs up for me.
Not a boy. See, those numbers you can work with.
Oh, yeah.
All right, face-off will be to the right. Critical minute 10 here for the Raiders as they try to tie it up here. Hansen, not Hansen, but Burke was the captain in the box, offsetting. Now number 25, that's Carissa Thompson, sets up in the corner. Gives it back to Hansen. Hansen backs to Thompson. They're going to interchange here. Puck goes up to Selesky. She's going to walk that blue line and just has it slide under her stick. Back to Tui. Tui now enters the zone. Tries to, has forced across, and now here comes Shaw working her way back. You've heard that name before. Shaw now on that left hash. She's just going to buy time. Throws it to the middle. Tui has it. Tui skates up. Forced pass, and the Raiders have to get some composure here. Now it's going to bounce. 31 seconds left. Hopkins. They're sending 2 pretty low. Now there's Shaw deep. They're not really afraid of the Raiders sending anyone as time is clicking down. 3:42 left here in this third period. 16 seconds left in this Raiders power play. Here comes Thompson. She's got Hansen with. She chips it, and that's going to be Shower and Thompson giving chase as Hansen comes off for a change. Tied up. Shower in the corner. Battles Thompson now. Puck protects. Spins. Tries to spin. Shower shot. Blocked by a Hopkins defender. That's number 10, our gelato girl. Now it's down in the corner. Poked ahead by Casey Plank. Lauren Mull pinned off, and Hopkins going to wheel out. 3:09 left. 5-on-5 hockey. Hansen and the girl that punched her in the box. I'll get that number in a minute here.
I think it was Lyndon Lew's number 6.
Number 6?
Number 5, number 6.
We'll go with 6. Tipped in front. Mull almost deflects it in on a shot by Plank. Plank gets the puck back. Now she slides it D to Schuster. Schuster, slap shot, saved by Oslin. Again, back into that corner. Erickson goes up, 3 for a quarter. Ooh, that one blocked. Plank battles, tries to keep it in, doesn't. Puck goes in across the blue line. At least it prevents a rush. And Hopkins now is going to get a big change. Puck chipped back, D to D. Schuster trying to go ahead. Now Gruden throws it up. No ice. Interesting no call there as Hopkins regroups and the Raiders change.
Have to start thinking about down with 2:20 left when they'll get the extra attacker on here.
For sure. Schuster steps but misses the puck. And now the Raiders regroup. Here comes Gruden. Gruden across, wrist shot, and that whistle is something the Raiders are going to want because that allows Captain Michaela Berquist to get out of the box.
And a nice glove save there by Osland, but that's also a break for Hastings because it stops the clock, gives them a chance to regroup here with 2:10 left, and potentially get one off the face-off here to try to tie this game at 3. But they're going to be doing the face-off from the near circle, and so that's always kind of an odd angle.
So we're going to have Hansen on her forehand. Tries to win it back. It squirts behind Thompson, but Selesky steps up. Now Thompson gets it, poked ahead. Hansen in the left corner, keeping an eye on Balster in that back end here. 2 minutes left. Raiders, as you said, down by 1. Going to have to pull at some point here. Rung behind the net. Shower unable to get there, and Hopkins rings it back up, but Tui steps in. Now it's back on Shower's stick. Shower spins, doesn't protect again, and it's exposed. Here comes Balster to the bench. 11, shot, that's Tui, rebound. Thrown to the front by Shower. Now it's poked out by Hopkins. Critical. Noel, the 6th skater. Shower off the ice now. We're going to get Erickson. Hopkins has the puck. Raiders got a pressure here. Cannot give time and space. Need everyone converging on that puck to make sure. Thrown back in, that's offsides. So the Raiders will have time to regroup with 1:18 left. Raiders trail 3-2 to the Hopkins Royals, down 3-0 at one point. Now chipped ahead. There's Berquist, the captain, trying to battle, keeping it in the zone. Hopkins flips it out, is unable to keep it in. Was Erickson. 1 minute left. 2 late goals in the second period allow the Raiders to close this. They have dominated with possession and puck time, as well as shots on goal, 29-17, but Hopkins with 3 goals leads. Shot, Tui, deflected off of Thompson. That's a high stick, and luckily Hopkins touches it first. Otherwise, the faceoff is all the way down. Selesky, wrister, tipped off of Libby Knoll's stick, and it goes off the crossbar. Puck, shot, now Hopkins has it. They're going to come out. They step across the blue. Selesky, I'm guessing, is pretty tired, and nobody pressures. That hits the side of the net. 24 seconds left. Raiders out of gas, need to pressure here. 19 seconds left in the corner. Mull pins, chipped up. Hopkins throws towards the net, and that doesn't go. Now Tui rings it around. 10 seconds left. Puck chipped out. Here comes Lauren Mull. She's got Kylie Gruden with her. 2-on-2, 4 seconds left. Spins, tries to get a shot off, and that horn is going to blow. You talk about a night where the pucks aren't bouncing. That puck shot from the point, goes off of Knoll's stick, deflects past Oslin, hits the crossbar and bounces out. You're talking an inch different, and that's a tie game.
Man, I thought it hit all 3, post, and crossbar. We'll have to take another look at it, but my goodness, that was almost a golden opportunity for the Hastings Raiders there to try to tie this game. See, yeah, it looked like it hit all 3, didn't it?
Not sure. I'm guessing crossbar by that angle, but a great shot by Selesky to give him a chance. Shots on goal. Final here, 30-17. I just got that in. Raiders drop this game 3-2 to the Hopkins St. Louis Park Royals in a game that we saw go both sides, both directions as far as time of possession. Raiders dominated for times, also struggled at times, and at the end of the day, come up just a little bit short. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. We will be back on AM 1460 KDWA.
Yeah, special thanks to the HCTV crew that offered to help have us help out with them tonight. Hunter Pinky, Ian Andrzak, Will Celine, thank you for reaching out to us and having us help you out tonight. We're happy to help out in any way. And that's going to do it for the HCTV portion of this broadcast. He's Josh Colvin, I'm Trey Lauer, and we'll be back on KDWA Radio here momentarily.